program is the active center.
All right, let's talk. You've got that amazing idea, right? The one that keeps you up at night, the one you're finally ready to turn into a real thing. Well, today we are diving into the single most important decision you have to make before you even think about making your first dollar, how you're actually going to structure your business. You know, it's one thing to have a brilliant concept, but it's a whole other ball game to build a solid foundation under it. And I'm not talking about your business plan or your marketing strategy. We're talking about the legal DNA of your company. It's a choice you've got to make from day one. And seriously, that is not an exaggeration. The structure you pick decides what's at risk if things go sideways. We're talking about the legal wall between your business life and your personal life. If you get this wrong, that wall, it just crumbles. It's gone. So how in the world do you make the right choice? Look, it's not about finding one best option that works for everybody. It's about finding the best fit for you. And to figure that out, we're going to use a really simple but powerful 5-point checklist that hits every critical factor you need to consider. Okay, think of these 5 points like dials on a control panel. How much control do you want? Are you willing to trade some of it for more safety? Are you looking for the simplest possible tax situation? Or do you need something more complex that can handle massive growth? Every single business type we're going to talk about is just a different combination of these 5 things. Let's start with the absolute fastest, simplest way to get up and running. This is the path a ton of freelancers and small business owners take, sometimes without even realizing they've made a choice. It gives you total 100% control, but it comes with a major, major catch. And here it is. This is the catch. Unlimited liability. This concept is so important. It means exactly what it sounds like. There is no limit to your personal responsibility. If the business owes money, guess what? They can come after your personal bank account, your car, your house, everything. So, the classic example of this is the sole proprietorship. If you're a freelance graphic designer, a consultant, or you run a little shop all by yourself, chances are this is you. It's super simple. You are the one and only boss, and every penny of profit is yours. But so is every ounce of risk. Just look at this. In the eyes of the law, there's no wall between you and your business. They are seen as the exact same thing, which means your business debt is your personal debt. End of story. Okay, so what if you're not going it alone? What if you have a partner? Well, that brings us to the general partnership. Think of it like a sole proprietorship, but for 2 or more people. You share the work, you share the profits, and yep, you share that same scary unlimited liability. But wait, it actually gets even riskier. You need to pay really close attention to this. Jointly and severally. That's a legal phrase with huge, huge consequences. It means if your partner messes up, like really messes up and puts the business deep in debt, creditors can come after you for the entire amount. You're not just on the hook for what you do, you're on the hook for what your partner does too. All right, that all sounds pretty terrifying, doesn't it? Thankfully, that's not the only way to do things. For anyone who wants to protect their personal life from their business risks, there is a solution. It's time to talk about building a legal shield. This, right here, is the game changer. It's called the corporate veil. It's a legal idea that basically treats the company as its own separate person, a totally distinct entity from its owners. So, if the business gets sued or goes under, they can only go after the business's assets. Your personal savings, your home, they're safe and sound behind this legal veil. Now, the oldest and most famous structure that gives you this protection is the corporation. Think of giants like Microsoft. The owners are called shareholders, but they don't actually run the day-to-day stuff. A board of directors does. So the big trade-off is pretty clear. You give up some of that direct hands-on control, but in exchange, you get that incredibly powerful liability protection. For the longest time, entrepreneurs had this really tough choice. Take on the crazy risk of a partnership, or deal with the massive complexity of a corporation. So, what if you want that protection without all the formal board meetings and complicated rules? Well, that's exactly why the LLC was invented. It's a much newer and now incredibly popular option that was designed to give you the best of both worlds. And this is why LLCs are everywhere now. It's brilliant. You get that corporate veil, the limited liability, check. But the taxes are simple, like a partnership. Profits just pass through to your personal tax return, which helps you avoid the double taxation corporations can face. Plus, managing it is way more flexible. Now let's look at a couple of specialized partnerships. First up, the limited partnership, or LP. In an LP, you've got two different kinds of partners. On one side, you have the general partner. They run the show, they make the decisions, but they also have that unlimited liability we talked about. Then, on the other side, you have limited partners. Think of them as silent investors. They put in money, but they have no say in management. In return for giving up control, their liability is limited to just the money they invested. And finally, there's the LLP, the limited liability partnership. You see this a lot with professionals, like law firms or architecture groups. The protection here is very specific. You're protected from your partner's mistakes or malpractice, but not your own. So if your partner messes up, you're shielded. If you mess up, well, that's on you. Whew. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. From the all-in risk of a sole proprietorship to the protective shield of a corporation and that flexible LLC. Now, let's put them all together and see how they stack up head to head. This is the moment where it all comes together. How do you really weigh control versus liability? How do the taxes change from one to the other? Let's just lay it all out, nice and simple. Take a look at this. On the left, there's all the structures we just talked about. See that really clear line? Sole proprietorship and general partnership have unlimited liability. Everything else offers some kind of limited protection. And look at control. It goes from absolute right at the top down to shared or limited as you get more protection. This right here, this is your cheat sheet. So you've seen the options, you've seen the comparison. Now what? What do you do? Well, the answer isn't in a chart. The answer depends entirely on what you want to build and how much risk you are comfortable with. At the end of the day, it all boils down to this one fundamental choice. On one side, you've got simplicity and total control, but it comes with huge personal risk. On the other side, you've got safety and the ability to grow big, but it comes with more complexity. There's no single right answer. There's only the right answer for you and their dream. So as you move forward with that brilliant idea of yours, ask yourself this one question. Choosing your business structure, it isn't just checking a box on some form. It is the literal foundation for everything you are about to build. So choose wisely.